Well, I didn't exactly have Candace Owens calling out Mr. Beast in light of the whole Charlie Kirk, situation, calling him out for pretty much kind of being a part of it. You know what I mean? Not exactly a part of it, but a part of operations from the military. Didn't see that on my bingo card for this year at all. So apparently, Mr. Beast is now kind of implicated. Not to be directly associated with Charlie Kirk, but being part of the military-industrial complex, being propped up by the military in order to distract kids, I guess, on watching a different game show rather than a game show on television. Or any other game show they could have put up on the internet, I guess. I don't know. It's really, really bizarre. Not to mention, we're going to go over, the people that are running TPUSA right now, a guy named Alex. I don't really know these people. I didn't really follow TPUSA that closely. I just watched Charlie Kirk's debates. That's all I did on campuses. Anything else, I didn't really watch Charlie's live shows very often. I found him to be pretty, radio TV. You know what I mean? It's just what it was to me. I'm not insulting Charlie, okay? I know people like that stuff. I couldn't get into it. I'm a music guy at heart. You know what I mean? I mainly watch music videos on YouTube. That's all I do. I learn a lot of guitar. In fact, my next cover for, I'm going to cover the solo for Divine, by All That Remains, the Jason Richardson solo. You know what I mean? So I'm going to be covering that up next on my music channel and whatnot. That's kind of what I focus on. Other than that, I watch, entertaining political channels because I'm not super duper political myself. I have a political channel. It's weird, right? But in my off time, when I'm not doing this, when I'm not ranting about things that I've seen, I mainly watch music videos and learn music. So that's just the way I was. So I don't know a lot of the people that are in here, okay? However, it seems neither does Candace, because this is weird. She's now blaming the entire military. She's saying that all these people have grandparents that were in the military. One of them was a part of the IDF, but that's not impressive to me. Like, I guess one of them working for PragerU served in the IDF and was proud about it. But the fact of the matter is if you're an Israeli citizen, you are forced to serve in the IDF. So it's like, hey, guess what? You and every other Israeli, right? So that doesn't tell me much. There's not a lot of evidence to link them to Raytheon, like she says, just because they were part of the military. I have a lot of military buddies. In fact, my dad's best friend literally retired out of the military. You know what he does all day long? He goes, has a good time. He goes and he collects like fossils and stuff. They go to bars and drink and hang out. Don't see him part of any operations. Maybe his operation is live a life. Oh man, so crazy. Raytheon, just after him. Making him live normal life with other people. It's not exactly a good, solid argument. So let's get into her making her weird claims about Mr. Beast, and then we'll get into more about the TPUSA stuff here too. It's weird to me, guys. It's really weird because she's just kind of pulling this out of her rear end now and not making any proper connections. And before we get into it too, they say TPUSA makes the exact excuse that I said they would probably make about the guy pulling his phone up quickly. And it completely takes the wind out of Candace's sails, just like I said it would. And I'll show you that clip. Let's go.
Who's the biggest person on YouTube?
Good question.
Right?
Who is that?
I just got interested. I started asking questions like, are we in a military simulation? Mr. Beast.
Uh-huh.
Both of his parents high up in the military. Do you think he really was just getting trillions and gazillions of views because...
I don't know. Do you think he was getting millions and trillions of gazillion views because of the military, though? Like, how do you make such an insane, massive claim that I would love to be real and I would love for it to be real and for us to work together and be like, hey, look at what they're doing to our media. The only issue is there's absolutely no proof to what you're saying. His parents were in the military. Guess what? Military pays really well. And guess what that does for kids? Especially when military parents are both really busy doing work. And your kid is kind of, left with a babysitter or left at home. And you know how babysitters are. It's not their kid. So, hey, I go play some video games while I talk on the phone with my boyfriend type thing, right? I mean, when I was a kid, you know what I did a lot? I sat in my room and played guitar. And then played Final Fantasy a lot. Both of those things. And then I would also, which, honestly, probably stifled my guitar playing a lot, but it was great. I don't care. I would walk all around my town with my best friends. All around town. All around town. was going to say two best friends, but it was actually way more than that. It was a lot of different people. I would just always walk around town with my buddies. And one of my buddies being the absolute greatest guitar player I think I've ever seen in my life. So it's one of those things to where if I probably had focused on playing guitar more, or at least just me and him would go and play guitar, you know, in my room or something, I probably would be even better than what I am today. But, you know, walk around town, go in the woods, stuff like that. So it's a little bizarre that you would just, like, assume, well, his parents are in the military, therefore, Mr. Beast himself is part of a military operation. He's not in the military. You're going to have to actually draw some parallels. Now, I understand there's weird stuff with the trans stuff. Seems to seep in, right? But at the end of the day, he did get rid of him. I don't know, I'm not going to defend Mr. Beast, but I'm also not going to sit here and make baseless claims on him.
People wanted to see somebody count to 1 million, or is that interesting? But also, it might be relevant that his family's military, like high up in the military. Everywhere I looked, every time I was like, well, this person, you know, I got interested even in Lila Rose, right?
It's not that weird that I have a lot of people, a lot of grandparents, great-grandparents, stuff like that, served in the military. None of it trickled down to me. I don't know hardly anything about the military whatsoever. My dad was in the military. He was stationed in Panama. I actually don't know many stories. I know that one time one of his, I think it was either him or it was someone in Panama. They were driving a tank and they drove it right off the side of a mountain. Something like that. It was pretty crazy. I'll have to ask him about that. Or was it was it a construction tank or something? Not tank, but like, I don't know. I'll have to ask him about that story. I don't know much about any of that stuff. I mean, a lot of the times, the military stuff, you know, by the time you get around to telling people or by the time your kid's old enough to tell them, a lot of the stories you had in the military were just kind of not relevant and they don't come up in conversation much. They're at the back of people's memories. You know what I mean? Now, war stuff would be one thing, but, you know, 99% of the military is doing really repetitive, boring crap. I have so many good friends. My brother-in-law was in the military. Adam Ruby, if you're watching this channel, buddy, I won't say your real name on here because, you know, I know you won't care, but I don't want to, just in case. But, you know, if you're watching, he was in the Marines. 8 years, was it? I believe 8 years up in Seattle, something like that. You know what I mean? He, I believe he went overseas, and yet none of that's ever influenced me. I don't know anybody who has been influenced by any of that stuff. This is all just speculation. Even if it wasn't. You know, like, even if there were a lot of people who were influenced by it, that doesn't mean everyone. How many people we got in the military? That's such a weird claim to make. Like, it's genuinely strange. So we get into this one, too, where she kind of brings him up again.
By the way, I'm in the early days of research here, and there's a lot more I'm going to present to you guys. But I think we can all acknowledge that we were lied to about the 30-06, right?
Oh, no, this is that. Okay, so we can't acknowledge that. No, because there's coyote shot. There's 55 grain coyote shot meant to go through, you know, it's meant to not go through the other end of an 18 to 45 pound coyote. 45 pound is a big old fat coyote, I can tell you that. They're not supposed to be 45 pounds. The average weight is like 38. But they can get down as low as 16. Probably either a runt or emaciated. All the way up to 45 pounds if they are eating very, very well and doing good in life. You know, or just abnormally large coyote in general, which they don't get very big. Coyotes are so small. They make 30-06 round, specifically for coyote. It's not supposed to go through them. That's the whole point. That's why they make rounds like that, is so you could take your target out without taking out the person behind them. That's kind of the point. And for coyote, and when you're out in the country, especially if you have neighbors out in the country, you don't want to accidentally end up in their house. So you're dead wrong on this.
I know for a fact Charlie's neck was not destroyed.
I do too. Yeah, we all know for a fact it wasn't. Do they make only one 30-06 round that just rips through human beings?
Certainly was not destroyed. And if I'm lying, sue me for defamation, and you'll learn.
Yeah, I mean, who cares whether you're lying or not? You don't know anything about it. It's not that you're lying, you're just dumb. They literally make the round you speak of that will not go all the way through. 55 grain. 55 grain. 55 grain. It's a green package by Remington. It's the cheapest ammo you can buy, which, if you were Tyler Robinson, probably buying the cheapest ammo you can buy for your gun without blowing your face up. Probably not a bad move. You know what I mean? Not the greatest move, because, you know, higher survival rate chance. But at the end of the day, 55 grain, coyote shot. Look it up, Candace. Not that difficult to do. Use Google. I did it. you can do it.
Military-industrial complex that shot JFK to maintain power has created.
So we don't know if it was the
veneer,
military.
Of reality for us, and it is not so, right? We are under a veil. I think that these corporations, people that are put at the head of these corporations and we're told that they're geniuses or they're just so successful, like Mr. Beast, these are military operations is what I'm signaling to you guys.
Mr. Beast is a military operation. Okay. Okay. So now, I mean, that's just where we're at now. Apparently, Mr. Beast, he's completely, totally a military operation. I don't know for what purpose. So it doesn't exactly make a whole lot of sense. This is what I'm talking about. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying, where's the freaking evidence of this? Why are you saying this out loud? Why are you going, yep, okay, and I'm just coming out saying Mr. Beast is a military operative, and his whole show is a operation. Okay, thanks for the info. Can I get, like, anything to back that? Maybe? Just maybe? I don't know.
Okay, let's jump in here to TPUSA's response to the Mikey McCoy. Actually, it wasn't really a response because, to be fair, they did their episode before my episode went out. Charlie Kirk's show is before my show is.
No, freak away. Actually, this aired before. So they said this before. I thought this was after. Oh, my God. Okay, so then they may have... I promise I didn't watch their episode at all before this. So I was going to make the point and show you guys that I uploaded my answer before any of them. They may have actually uploaded this before me, but she did not. She did not. So
it was their response to the Mikey McCoy video going viral. So not a response to me, but rather a response to the people who had pulled this out, who had discovered this over the weekend. So like James Lee, Ian Carroll, Sam Parker.
Okay.
And here is what Andrew Colvett had to say. He's going to tell us that Mikey was told to do this in the event of this type of an emergency.
Okay.
By, you guessed it, Charlie Kirk. Take a listen.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Here's the last thing I want to make.
Do you have any proof against that?
And Charlie had given me similar instructions along the years. Said, if anything ever happens to me, you call Erica.
Yeah,
that's
the other thing.
And he drilled that into Mikey's brain so that when this moment of trauma happened, that he turned around and he knew he had to do it. And by the way, last thing, because this is part of...
That makes sense. If Charlie has singled one guy out and he says, if anything happens to me, you call my wife. That's your job. If anything happens, you call my wife.
The video allegations here.
Totally get it.
They think... They're alleging
but
that
I have
he
no
was
way
on
of
the phone
disproving whether that
immediately.
happened
He was
or not.
not. He was taking social videos, which he would send to our group chat, which we would then put on Charlie's social while the event was happening, so you could see like the crowd come in or his interactions. And we were only 2 questions into this event, so he was still getting it out to all the chats he needed to do, which he did at every event. He turns around, and it was so blaringly loud, I'm told. You would know this better than I, but this is what I'm told. It was so blaringly loud, and he was so shell-shocked.
Yeah.
He put his fingers in his ear, but his phone was still in his hand. He walks away.
Wow. That's so weird. That's so weird. Very loud sound, too. He might not have put his phone to his ear. He might have put his fingers in his ears. Wow, that's so weird. Look at me there. Woo! Okay, anyway, enough screwing around with that. That's crazy. That's crazy that I called that, huh? Look, let's look real quick. I don't know if it's on his ear or not. His hands are up to his ears? I don't know. That's right after the shot. Now, now, keep in mind, security guard. Okay? Both of them go over to Charlie. First responders are supposed to be on scene. I don't know if they were or weren't. I wasn't able to confirm it. Neither was Candace, but she thinks that they weren't. But we don't have enough footage of everything that took place to know if they were or were not. So, anyway, that's just wild that I just called that.
And he's... and
not even walk.
It's so crazy that I called it. It's almost like it was just such common sense that it was too easy to call. I can't even give myself credit, guys. I can't. It was just common sense.
Because people are talking about that. The way it was is we had a cordoned off area with grates, so you had controlled access. All the people, when this happens, they all get the idea we should leave before we are shot. And so there's a little narrow gap that I think people, it's not really walking, it's that everyone has to slow up to get through this little narrow choke point to get out of the area.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, elsewhere they say that, so basically he was on the phone, he was holding his ears, okay? And then once he got out into the distance beyond the car that Charlie would be carried into is when he called Erica first and then his father. That's what they tell us.
That's not, that they didn't give us a time frame. They didn't say when he called her. They didn't say at what point it was that he had her on the phone. So where did you get that from? Why'd you just say that? That's not what happened. He could have called her right behind the tent immediately. Who knows? I don't know. I speculated that he could have flipped up and called 911 or something, but I don't know. Maybe he was aware that there were police on site and he was calling people, calling Charlie Kirk's wife saying, hey, I just saw Charlie get hit, because he did. He was standing right by him. She's trying to act like that he was just standing behind her where she could, like, nothing could be seen. But Charlie hit the ground before he left. So, I don't know. And it looks like he's in proper eyesight to me, because guess what? I could see him and Charlie at the same time in frame. I have no reason to believe that he doesn't have a line of visual, or a direct line of vision to Charlie. I don't understand that, Candace.
Now, in regards to him saying that Mikey was taking social videos, I can tell you it tracks that Mikey would be taking videos behind, like we know when Charlie first comes out of the event, he's throwing hats.
Okay.
That tracks. That absolutely is a thing at Turning Point USA.
Sure,
You
I'm sure there's a
follow
lot
the
of
person
reasons
to
for
get
him to have
behind
his
the
phone out.
scenes. I would have Savannah do this before Mikey McCoy did this.
Okay.
It was Sarah Schmachtenberger. And they do that. They like the behind the scenes reactions. But in this particular video, he's not standing where you can get a view of Charlie asking a question.
How do you know that? It looks like he is to me. He's perfectly visible.
So this part is not tracking. Okay.
How is it not tracking? That's just your own opinion. You do not know. He's standing right there on the back left side of Charlie Kirk. But he could see Charlie Kirk from where I could. If I could see him on camera and Charlie Kirk at the same time, more than likely he could probably see Charlie and everything, and he's probably getting some video off in the corner. There's probably all sorts of different point of views that they sit and put in there. Like, look at this, for instance. Candace is using 2 cameras. Why wouldn't Charlie use multiple as well?
Mikey is not
Watch.
standing to the side of Charlie.
Now the
He is
camera's in front of her,
behind.
instead of on her
So
side.
if you're saying
So he's standing on the side of Charlie, you're right. But look at this perspective here. He's right here. There's a camera right here. He may be operating that camera. I don't know if he's operating that camera or not. And, you know, guess what? If he is operating that camera and he has his phone on him too, there may be a couple of reasons why. For all we know, this camera could also be Bluetooth and controlled by his phone. His phone may have extra controls on it. I don't know exactly the reason why he would have his phone out specifically. But just for my pedal board and stuff, guess what? A lot of these things are Bluetooth compatible. You could save certain presets into it and stuff like that. He may be doing that with this specific camera. I don't know what this specific camera model is, but I bet you if it's Bluetooth compatible, I have just absolutely yet again discredited one of your claims. All somebody has to come out and say, well, he was remote controlling that camera with his Bluetooth. And then it disproves it. Or maybe he could show video. Maybe he's like, hey, I just got this person asking a question, or I got a picture, maybe. Maybe he's taking pictures. Who knows what specifically he's doing? But I know one thing. There's a million things he could be doing with that phone. And you're not debunking any of them. You're just thinking, you're just sitting there going, well, it's weird. He couldn't have been doing that. Why do you have his phone out? What is this? Huh? And it's like, I don't know. Why did he have his freaking phone out? Maybe he was texting somebody. Maybe he just met himself a nice young girl. And maybe he's just going, oh, texting someone. I don't know. He could be married. Maybe his wife is asking him where the freaking towel holder is. Or where, you know, or not towel holder, the pot holders are. You know, to go and get them out of the kitchen or something. She's like, hey, where are these at? And he's like, oh, crap, I'm sorry. I was wiping my butt with it upstairs. Gross. Yep. Okay, cool. I don't know. Do you have any idea how many reasons he could have his phone out for? This is ridiculous.
he is behind. And so if you're saying what earlier, we're supposed to see him, the best place to stand if you're going to get a video of Charlie asking a question is going to be in a place where you can see both Charlie and the person asking the question. And that
you can. He may need a different perspective. Maybe he wants a perspective where Charlie Kirk is back, his back is to him, and you could see Charlie Kirk just kind of off into the camera. And then, oh God, what a pause game there. That is creepy. Sorry, I didn't intend for that to happen. Anyway, as it just happens. Anyway, they may want just partly of Charlie Kirk's back being shown in the camera shot while they zoom in on the guy asking the question. I don't know. Candace, why are you breaking this down like this without any evidence whatsoever? It's so weird. There's so many reasons why he could be doing what he's doing. And you don't know any of them. You just go, okay, well, this is weird. Yeah, it is weird, but it's nothing. It's not worth talking about. Why are we wasting time on this?
It's just not where he's standing. So that excuse doesn't make sense to me. Now, maybe he's saying he was there when he was throwing hats out, and he was there trying to send videos thereafter once things got started. That's all possible. I don't know. Regarding him putting his hands up to his ear, it does sound completely plausible to me that if you first hear a gunshot, you're going to naturally do this.
Yeah.
Right? That kind of makes sense.
You're right go, then at the shot. That's exactly what happens.
What was
boom,
that?
Boom. It's exactly what he does. But she says it doesn't look like it to him. What does that look like to you guys? What? Nice head there, guy.
Maybe. And then I think typically you'd get down. And the issue that I have is I never see him take that phone down.
What about this guy in the background, though? Just hiding behind that pier. You're a little suspicious, isn't it?
Maybe he does, right? Maybe he does. We don't know for a fact.
Look at this guy. He's just kind of looking back casually. He's, just got a good impression of this guy right here. This guy's suspicious. You know what I mean? Look at that. What's this canister he got? Is that one of them things that made a loud gunshot to cover up the, coyote shot 30-06? 55 grain. But anyway, is that what this is? Oh man, this is an awfully looking, scary looking speaker here. Could have blasted that shot out of there too. I don't know, Candace, but what do you mean?
And so we should be clear that it doesn't look to me like he's just covering his ears there.
Okay, Candace. All right, whatever. You could see through tarps. I can't. I guess you know better than me. Whatever.
It's up to his ear. It does sound completely plausible to me that if you first hear a gunshot, you're going to...
I guess I pulled up 2 pages there on this one. Okay, and then I showed this where I said he could, I predicted that easily. Oh, wow. Pause game today, huh?
Oh, and he then kind of shifts gears and pretends like we're all drug addicts, right? We're just high on conspiracy theory. Take a listen.
So she makes that claim, and he doesn't even come close to making the claim she just did. He doesn't call you a drug addict.
There's a suggestion online that Mikey, Charlie's chief of staff, one of the most sincere people you'd ever meet, brilliant, Christian, kind, everyone he ever met in his entire life, couldn't hurt a fly, was part of a conspiracy to murder Charlie. That's what's going on.
Yeah. It's vile. It's utterly vile.
Who would do this? What type of individual? Just to create content, do we think, or is there some? What's the ulterior?
I don't know. I think a lot of this mindset just sort of fuels itself. It's sort of addictive in the same way a lot of social media.
Man, he's doing a lot of giving the benefit of the doubt. Like, he's just like, well, it's kind of addictive to make content like this and get clicks and stuff, and I think it's money. I genuinely think it's money. She's made 1 million subscribers in a month over this stuff, okay? Over all of this. And what is the best evidence she has to come out with? So far, the best evidence, honestly, that she has to come out with really is that Charlie Kirk came into her dreams and told her stuff. Don't get me wrong, there's actually a little bit better evidence that she's covered, and I've covered it in the videos and have acknowledged it and said, hey, this is a little weird, but it doesn't tie into anything. It's kind of like, what she makes here. Everyone being a part of a military, or having, ancestors in the military. And I'm like, if it was all of these people actively in the military, or with special forces in the military, that would be one thing. But ancestors? Sins of the father, I guess. Whatever, That just doesn't make sense, because everybody has an ancestor that fought in the military at some point.
This stuff is addictive,
Recent
or in the way like
ancestor. I'm talking about like great-great-grandfather.
Pornography is addictive or something. Like they get really, they almost get a high off of the idea of that they're doing something that's daring or out there.
Yeah, sure.
So that right there is a psychological operation, and because.
Okay. All right, Candace, it's a psyop. You're right. That's just a psyop, because they're like, I don't know why she's doing this. The thing about it is she's accusing these people of not wanting to solve Charlie's murder when we actually have the killer behind bars. And so far, nothing has been debunked on him being the killer at all. It's so bizarre.
Because we're reading about Sigmund Freud, they diagnose you. When they don't want you to look into something.
What diagnosis did he give you there? Were you diagnosed with schizophrenia? Were you diagnosed as crazy? Were you diagnosed as actually being addicted to something specific? He's like, I don't know. It's probably kind of like PORN, where people get addicted to it. I don't know. That's my guess. And he says, I don't know. He literally says, I don't know why she's doing this. This is my guess. Guessing is not a diagnosis, Candace. So you're already lying about what he said. Why?
They diagnose you. So right there, he's going, oh my, are they just doing this to create content? Are these people akin to...
Wait. How's that a diagnosis? You repeated his question. So he can't ask questions. That's the whole point? So he literally, are you doing this? Literally, she just repeats his question, and she considers that a diagnosis. If that's the case, every question you've asked, Candace, was a direct diagnosis or a direct accusation. When you say, I'm just asking questions, and then you repeat his question, and you're saying that that's vile that he asked that question? Wow, Candace. Major hypocrisy there.
Drug addicts are just high on the conspiracy theory.
Never said drug addict.
They're gaslighting you, and then they're diagnosing you. So we all just watched Charlie die. We were having...
He didn't do that at all. He asked a question, Candace. Apparently, only Queen Candace can ask questions.
A perfectly rational response to watching that, and then watching the strange reaction of his peers, or the non-reaction of his peers who just want our money, right? And are asking for Susie Wiles. It's the craziest part of his whole thing for me. It was like, why is Susie Wiles? I don't know, it just feels really weird, like a weird pick for her to eulogize him. But yeah, and not maybe his parents, maybe they didn't want to. Actually, they were quite private people. But all this happens, and we're having a natural reaction, which is we feel alarmed, we feel suspicious, and they're going, oh, you're a drug addict.
He never called you that.
You know what? I get it. You kind of like porn. You're into that. You're into the porn thing. I get it. No, I get it. If you want to watch porn all day, you...
Okay. I think we got it. Who's diagnosing who now? Okay. Well, you didn't ask a question there, Candace, so you actually made a direct statement. Wow, this is amazing. This is just amazing. Now, I think the rest here, let's get to this.
There's a difference between a possibility and evidence for a possibility.
Right.
You can speculate on anything you want.
Yes.
But unless you have evidence, shut up.
Brilliantly put. Brilliantly put. If Candace would have came about this different, and I've been saying this in every single video, if she would have came out and said, I think this is weird, what do you guys think? And left it at that, that would have been fine. But when she comes out and says, these people betrayed Charlie Kirk, and does not proceed to give any evidence, and then goes, this is weird, but doesn't show any evidence whatsoever that these people have actually betrayed Charlie Kirk, think about what you're doing. You're turning people against TPUSA, saying that they did something without any proof whatsoever. And that's the biggest issue that I have with everything you're doing, Candace. That's what I think is dangerous. If you actually just came forward and said, why is TPUSA being weird about this? In my opinion, this is how I think they should have acted. I don't know. What do you guys think? And would be a lot more vague on that and didn't get so hostile with the direct finger pointing. This would have gone a lot better for you, I think. And I would have probably still written you off as a little bit of a nutbag for it, but I would have respected it a lot more, honestly. And it would cause me to look a little bit more into it, and I'd be like, okay, look, I really don't know. But the more you get going and push harder and harder that these people actually did something wrong, and then you never show what they did wrong, that's exactly the moment that pushes me into defending TPUSA and saying you're completely crazy. Don't make me do that. Don't make me go full-fledged against you, per se. Now, I have a lot of reason to be against Candace, with her social autopsy, her being a leftist in 2016, her going back and lying about how she met Kanye in 2017 when Dave Rubin introduced her to him. Dave Rubin came out and said, yes, I introduced Candace. She used me to get famous, and then she ditched me after that. So I go and I play that for you guys in the last video. And then she keeps going on these crazy crusades of easily disprovable statements that she makes. It's absolutely insane. I think Candace is actually going through a mental crisis, but I don't know that. Again, I'm not diagnosing you, Candace. I have no idea what's going on in your head. But it sounds insane when you point the fingers and don't give us evidence that we ask for.
Okay, because all you're doing is causing dissension among the brothers, which is something the Lord hates.
It's called gossip. And it is absolutely talked about right here in the Bible. Not hard to crack it open, read it, Candace, and look into it as you claim to be a Catholic. But then you don't, you just completely write it off. You're not supposed to be going around and telling people somebody did something without actual proof. You should understand that, Candace. Now, anyway, what do you guys think down in the comments section below? I've had a lot of people agree with Candace in my comment section and disagree, of course. Most of the time when people come, and I ask this, I know I'm 30 minutes into the video and I'm asking for this. No one's going to be here, except for people who actually enjoy my videos. But I'm going to see anyway. Guys, if you are going to defend Candace, please, just tell me one thing I got wrong in the video, please. Stop coming here and attacking my character, attacking my looks, and all that stuff. It does nothing. I haven't done that to Candace. I've made fun of some of the pause games, but that's not her fault. It's not my fault either, because I don't intentionally do it. Like, see, I didn't do it now, obviously. It just, sometimes it lands on a funny face where she goes, you know what I mean? And people could clip that, and that's funny. It's funny stuff. I like making funny faces. I'm a metal guy. You ain't gonna hurt my feelings. But I get tired of seeing 5-page freaking comments. Some people will comment like 5 freaking paragraphs. It's insane. And I'll read through all of it and waste my actual time reading it to see that there wasn't one single criticism about anything I said in the video. Please, watch the videos and then comment. That way I can actually get a concise argument from you. Because I want to argue on the merit of what we're talking about, not based on my long hair that I need to cut. Oh, cut your hair, hippie. You know, stuff like that. And it's just like, great. Thanks, guys. You know, greatly appreciate y'all coming here. Anything else you want to add? You think my mustache is stupid too? Okay, fine. That's great. What does that have to do with any of this? Anyway, guys, just tell me what you all think down in the comment section below. And join my Discord, link in the description below. I'll see you guys here in the next one. Later.